So, should I even ask? It's our dear captain's induction ceremony. An unseen voice said from the far corner of the room that made my heart stop. Care to join in the festivities? Why are you here? I stuttered as Tom strolled towards me, wearing that disturbing manic smile on his face. I felt myself start shaking a little as he pulled out a chair and joined the rest at the table. Is everything all right, my boy? Hook asked from his seat. Yeah. Anyway, I think my curiosity is good and satisfied, so I think we're just gonna go. I said, the words catching in my throat. Destiny, move me far away from here right now, I begged, leaning over to whisper into her ear. What's the rush? Tom asked me. That smile was welded to his face, refusing to bleed into his eyes as he stared down, challenging me to move. And that's when the feeling came back, that unbearable terror I felt from the first night. We're all friends here, after all. Jose? Jose, are you feeling okay? You're getting really pale, Destiny asked once she got my attention. You still want to get out of here? Yes, please. Come on, stay a while, Tom insisted again, seeing how uncomfortable I was. Let's talk about the Grossman movie. Leave him alone, Victor. If the lad don't want to be here, then let him go and stop tormenting him, Jekyll warned all of a sudden. What's it to you, Henry? Tom asked maliciously, still not taking his eyes off of me as he stood from his chair and took a step towards me. But then, his eyes changed, finally. A look of shock and horror took over when he felt the Count's fingers tighten around the back of his neck. That is more than enough, he warned Tom as I watched his fingers clench even harder. I am afraid I will have to insist. He added as he slowly but mechanically pulled Tom back down to his seat. Destiny, Jose, you may both leave if you wish. However, if you would prefer to stay, it will be allowed. After he was done speaking, my eyes darted over to Tom again. So much for not telling Jekyll about it, huh? I asked Destiny as I glanced his way. I guess he already knew, she admitted with a shrug. We ain't mates, not even by the most liberal of definitions, but we do share notes, respect for science and all that, Jekyll explained, narrowing his eyes at Tom. Leave. I'd like to leave. Abigail, enjoy your meeting. Please don't mention my name if the police come around. I'm getting the hell out of here, I stated as a matter of fact. Destiny, toilet adjacent poof, if you please. Oh, ribs. Oh, fucking forgot about the ribs. I groaned as I hurled into the toilet again, and again, and again. We'll put some of Tiger Lily's stuff on when you're empty, Destiny assured me as she rubbed my back. I can't believe you really let Abigail get you shot with a beanbag. You two could really have your own sitcom. I can't believe you let Abigail get you shot with a beanbag. Rissa sighed the next day as she brought a tray holding my lunch over to the couch where I was laying, trying to stay off my beanbag side and breathe as little as possible. Where's Destiny? Isn't this like girlfriend stuff? She said she had something really important to do today, so I told her not to worry about me. She already does that way too much anyway. I answered with a groan as I sat up to get to the table. You don't have to do this all either, you know? I'll probably be up and riding again tomorrow with Tiger Lily's bomb doing its thing. Ha, Tiger Bomb. I just got that. Anyway, it's fine. You've done so much for me. I can be your nurse for the day, she said with a smile. Just let me know if you need anything, okay? Yeah, sure. Thanks. So, how's the... I asked quietly, pointing to the area of my face where the staples would be on hers. You're getting them out soon, right? You excited, or... Kinda. I'm still not sure if the fact that I'm a ghost in another dead woman's body with someone else's parts added on just hasn't completely hit me yet. Or if already being a spirit trapped in a bike helped desensitize me to the situation, she told me, letting her fingers brush over the staples on her face while she spoke. You should say something about that to Dr. Angeline. And that's what she's here for, you know?
Yeah, I guess. Maybe the whole thing about it being Julie's body, too,
she suggested. But then she stopped, like she had a whole other thought roll right over that one.
Hey, speaking of, have you seen Harley around lately?
I mean, now that you... Oh, God, I groaned as I stood up off the couch. I don't think so. Not for a while, it seems like. I kept talking as I walked over to the window and looked out across the parking lot office to the building. Actually, where the hell is she?
She does own this place, right?
Risha asked, looking out beside me.
I don't think we've ever gone this long without her randomly popping up and starting shit.
A lot of weird fuckery going on around here, I said under my breath, thinking about everything that seemed to spring up recently. What are you doing here? I asked Abigail the next day as she walked by the office I'd been sneaking a peek inside of. Taking your advice, she answered, rattling something around in a small black box. Also, I need Dirty Working's van for Louie to drive it. I'm making some new shelves for props and I needed to haul the lumber and junk, she added when she saw the curious look on my face. Whatever. Keep the crime to a minimum at least. Misdemeanors only if you can help it, I told her. I'm giving up on the office and heading back to my apartment to try and rest my side.
See anything?
Risha asked once I got back inside. Nah, looks like she hasn't been there in a while, I answered as soon as I sat down.
I got it!
Destiny suddenly shouted as she poofed into the middle of the living room. Got what? I asked, trying to ride out a wave of pain from tensing my side from shock.
The job! That's what I was doing yesterday. I was applying for a job at Sobek's water park. He was looking for people to work there, and I got it! But you don't need a job, do you?
Rissa questioned.
Your dad's like crazy rich, right? I don't need it for the money, but I see you guys all working and you have all these stories you can tell and stuff that happens. I kinda want that too. Plus, I need something to do. I get bored.
Huh, that sounds like fun. He seems like he'd be a decent boss too, I said as I eased myself back down into my spot, thinking about our trip to the water park. So what would you be doing?
I think, starting at the bottom, working food stands and sending people down the slides and junk, she said with a shrug. But it's still exciting. Okay, well, Tag, you're it, Risha told Destiny when she saw Madison come down the stairs. You watch Jose, the magic cream stuff is on the table. Where are you going?
Destiny asked as they both walked by.
Oh, wait, today's the day?
Mm-hmm, she answered excitedly. Is it that staple thing? I added to the questioning as I tried to get comfortable. God damn it, he was really close when he shot me. I groaned as I felt another twinge of pain and the continuous soreness.
Wow, that's a hell of a bruise,
Madison chimed in as I looked the still darkening patch over.
Imagine if that hit you in the ball sack.
Just her saying that caused me actual pain as I waved her out the door. Good luck, Rissa, I told her when I remembered who she had to go see to get the staples out.
Yeah, thanks,
she replied with a soft sigh as her shoulders sagged a little.
We'll be back soon,
she added as she closed the door behind her. Hey, Dest, can you keep an eye on them whilst they're there? I'll be okay here by myself. I just don't like the idea of them at that place with him, I asked once I was sure they were too far away to hear me.
You sure?
Yeah, I'll be okay. I got movies and food here on the table, and it's not too far to crawl to the bathroom, I assured her. I'm more worried about them, and you would be too if you saw what we saw that night. I just don't think he'd take a chance messing with Dracula's daughter, from what I can tell.
Okay. We'll be back soon. Behave yourself. No working on your bike, no riding, no crime fighting, or solving mysteries either.
She warned me before she kissed me on the cheek and poofed away, the scent of her perfume lingering in the air for a moment before wafting away. Once she was gone, and I knew someone was looking after those two, I let out one more soft groan as I closed my eyes and laid back on the couch. But that's when I heard the signature poofing sound. Forget something? I asked, not bothering to open my eyes.
Well, I was just thinking, I heard Destiny's voice say from above my head. They still won't be there for a while, and that means we'd have the apartment all to ourselves. Know what I mean? She said with a giggle. Damn, I appreciate the offer, don't get me wrong. I told her, keeping my eyes closed in disbelief of what I was saying. But I don't think I get very far with my side the way it is right now. Oh, come on, real quick? She begged playfully as I felt one of her loose strands of hair tickle my nose. Really, I don't think... Hey, why can't I smell your perfume anymore? I asked, and then opened my eyes. What the fuck? I screamed when I saw the maid's face just a few inches from mine. I huffed, grabbing my side as I pulled myself upright. You are sharp, aren't you? Copying voices is one thing. The appearance is harder, but I can do it. But a smell, I still haven't figured that one out. She spoke with that crooked smile of hers. Were you waiting on them to leave just to give me the fucking business? I plead the fifth, she answered as she sorted through the food on the table. So, looks like you're in good with a lot of the big spooks around here, huh? They seem to like you more than the average Joe. Ooh, Twizzlers. I love these. They taste like spray paint smell. Yeah, I know. Now what do you want? I interrupted as she tore open the pack of candy. Don't worry about that. Especially when there's so many other things to worry about, she cooed, biting off a piece of one of my Twizzlers. Would you stop eating my candy? I shouted, snatching at the bag. I'm starting to hear cryptic bullshit like that on a weekly basis, so sorry if I'm not mid-panic at the moment. I groaned, the action of grabbing the candy rattling my ribs and sending another wave of agony across my side. Busted ribs, huh? I can help with that, you know. She told me as I rocked back and forth on the couch. But you have to do me a favor, and you can't know what it is before, she added with a sly grin. That's the condition. Whatever. This isn't getting better, and I need to get back to work. I relinquished without much of a fuss. I figured if she was going to hurt me, she'd had plenty of chances to do that by now. All right. Then sit back and listen to the poem until you fall asleep. Then when you wake up, you'll be fixed. No more pain. Poem? I asked incredulously. No questions. Sit back, eyes closed, she said as she slid the glove off of her hand and placed a single finger to my forehead. The time has come, the Reaper said. This is your final day. Your hopes, your dreams, your worldly schemes, with you they passed away. As you leave, the world goes on, and barely knows you're gone. One final journey lies ahead, and here you cannot stay. You've had your life, you've had your time, the toll you must now pay. The time has come, the Reaper said. These next few thoughts appall. Of the end, the void, and what it's like to not exist at all. Hey, that sounds so familiar. I mumbled as my eyes started to get heavy and the world started to blur. It should. It's what those buddies of yours in Hook's crew sang at your ceremony. How do you know about that? I tried to ask as everything faded away. Jose? Jose? I almost caught as I was startled awake by Destiny shaking my shoulder. What? I'm back, she said as I sat up. Risa and Madison are on their way here. Risa looked really shook up the whole time, but nothing eventful happened, she reported to me. How's your side? It's not really hurting right now, I answered as I lifted my shirt. The bruise was still there, but the pain was actually gone. I just didn't want to bring up the maid and upset her by mentioning it. Guess the ointment stuff is starting to work. A little while later, I could hear Rissa and Madison walking up to the front door. But when they got to the door and when they touched the knob, they suddenly paused. You guys aren't doing stuff in there, are you?
Rissa asked quietly through the door.
No!
Destiny snapped, turning a little red.
Well, I just wanted to be sure,
Rissa explained before slowly pushing the door open. We aren't trying to trick you, Rissa. We both have our clothes on, I promise, I assured her as she tiptoed in.
It's not that. I'm just nervous. Nervous about what?
Me and Destiny both asked her.
I don't know. That I look different now?
Well, duh. You'll look like you don't have staples in your face. Just come in before Madison pushes you in.
Okay. So?
She asked as she scooched all the way inside, standing with her hands clasped in front of her. You look good to me. You relieved it's over? I asked when she seemed to relax a little.
Yeah, I guess so,
she answered, finally smiling a little.
Jose, what's wrong?
Destiny asked once Rissa and Madison finally went upstairs to bed. Nothing. What makes you think something's wrong? I didn't do anything.
You forgot I can pick up your strong emotions, didn't you? I know when something's up. You can't fool me there, she warned. So, one more chance. What's wrong?
I think I had a bad dream whilst you were gone. Freaked me out a little, I guess.
Mm-hmm. You've been having a lot of those lately, haven't you?
She asked as she flopped back on her usual spot at the far end of the couch. I can't imagine why that would be, I said sarcastically as I eased myself down next to her and leaned over onto her shoulder, looking at the half-eaten Twizzlers still sitting on the coffee table. At least they're just dreams. Dr. Angeline? I murmured inquisitively as she sat across from me, her fingertips touching as her elbows rested on her desk. What are you thinking about?
Tell me, Jose, do you remember what Fate, Destiny's sister, looked like?
Oh, yeah. Let me think. I think she had long black hair. She was tall, the tallest of the three. She seemed more athletic than the rest, too. I didn't spend that much time around her, to be honest, I answered, wondering where she was getting with all this.
And this maid you've been seeing, can you describe her to me too?
Oh, yeah, sure. Tall, black hair, pretty long, kinda muscular. I trailed off as I got anxious about where she might take this conversation.
And so far you're the only one who's actually seen her, is that correct?
Yes, I answered, almost groaning.
Then can I propose something to you that I think might possibly be going on?
I guess, I said sheepishly.
All right, Jose. In our talks before, you've expressed on several occasions that you feel a great deal of blame for Fate's death. In fact, the original fiasco that brought you here to begin with, that was partly because you were under the impression that Destiny held you responsible, correct?
That's not wrong, I admitted, sinking into my seat a little.
Okay. Well, might it be possible that this is a manifestation of those unresolved emotions regarding Fate's untimely death? It seems more than a coincidence, at least to me, that this mysterious phantasm that's been appearing to you, and only to you, holds such a striking similarity to Fate, she explained, finally leaning back in a chair. And to be blunt, if that's the case,
then I'd be really losing my mind, right?
Well, I wouldn't put it that way, but it would warrant a different approach, she clarified. So I think we need to...
Well, that's not it, I declared, pulling a half-eaten piece of candy out of my pocket and showing it to her. Do that emotion thing you do, I told her.
That's not how that works. Sometimes people's emotions change when they lie, and I can pick up on that. But that doesn't work on certain people, like people with what you'd know as sociopathy. And the problem here is that a sufficient vivid hallucination is indistinguishable from reality to the person having the hallucination. You can tell me you saw something that wasn't really there, but if you genuinely think you saw it, then you're not actually lying to me. So I know the difference based on your emotional state. not hallucinating. The maid is tormenting me constantly. Ah, ribs! Ugh! What about my ribs? Just suddenly stop hurting, huh? I argued, lifting up my shirt to show the unsettling dark bruise on my side. Jose, I'm not trying to flatter you when I say that you're a degree more clever and intelligent than my average client, even if you try to hide it. So I shouldn't have to bring up the...
Don't you dare say the placebo effect. Don't you do it, I warned, starting to get more than a little defensive. Or the power of suggestion or any of that bullshit. How much time have you spent trying to convince me I wasn't hallucinating all this stuff?
Okay, fair enough. But if you are seeing things that aren't there, it's something worth catching early. But let's shelve that for now because there's something I'd like to ask you,
she said as she put her notebook down and recrossed her legs. Yeah, okay, what is it?
First, I need you to make me a promise that you'll be perfectly honest with me,
she said as she leaned to the side and placed a finger against her temple. Sure, I promise, I guess.
Okay then. Jose, is there something you're keeping from me? Such as something that may have happened in your past, before all of this stuff. Something that might be a significant source of trauma.
She asked in an almost careful tone. And then in that moment, I felt a sensation I never felt before. Like TV static in my mind at first. But then as I thought about her question more and more, the sensation changed. Almost like there was something I should be able to say, but I couldn't. Not too different from trying to throw up on an empty stomach. For a while, all I could do was sit there, not speaking or moving, but just digging around inside my own head in the space that was either blocked off or empty when it shouldn't be, and becoming more frustrated that I couldn't understand what was happening.
Jose? Jose, what's wrong?
I heard Dr. Angeline's voice over the static. I don't know. I was trying to answer your question, but every time I think about it, it's like my brain gets a cramp or something. I can't explain it, I answered, still frustrated and confused. I tried explaining when I saw the concerned look on her face. She even let me stay past my session time to go into as much detail as I could. But all that did was make her seem even more concerned the longer I spoke.
Jose, it's not unheard of for people to lose parts or all of a particular memory in the fog of trauma. But I've never heard of what you're describing. But what's even stranger, and much more worrying, is that whilst you appear calm and collected, almost unaffected on the outside, I can sense your emotions are, well, they border on agony when you try to answer the question, and there's not so much as a hint on your face.
I think Dr. Angeline is this close to having me committed, I told Rissa as I left the office shortly after. We think I'm missing a big chunk of my memory from before I moved out here. I'll tell you about it when I'm back at the apartment later tonight.
What are you doing for Halloween?
I asked Destiny as she loomed over me. One more time?
Halloween! What's your Halloween costume? I want to know so we can match for our first one together.
Oh, well, I hadn't really thought about it. What with the gathering darkness and all, I answered dismissively. What's the big deal anyway?
You don't know?
I don't know a lot of things about your crazy-ass world, I said in response to her disbelief. Think training wheels here.
Oh, well, yeah, anyway, every year there's a big Halloween party at the castle. Everyone who's anyone will be there. It's this whole thing. They like to give my dad's ass a good kissing to stay on the good side because they think he's some, I don't know, tyrant ruler of the paranormal or something.
But except for with me, he's mostly
a big teddy bear, yeah. But it's easier to just let everyone go on thinking that. It helps keep everyone in their place so they don't start screwing around and start a power struggle or something. Plus, it's really fun. Then there's the Harvest Festival we do the first weekend of November.
Harvest Festival?
Yeah, it's from Romania. It's the last days of harvesting sunflower seeds and corn back home. It's more formal, like a masquerade ball. She told me she looked over at my wall of movie props, probably checking to see if there was anything new there. Oh, well, yeah. Haven't really thought about it. I don't think I've been into Halloween since I was little. Why not? She asked, finally sitting down next to me on the couch. Well, I started to answer, but then that static sensation came rushing back. What's going on? Destiny asked worryingly as I rubbed my head. I don't know. It's that weird feeling I got at Dr. Angeline's. It's starting to freak me out. After convincing her we'd both be fine, we cuddled up on the couch to watch... What were we watching? It was a show, and there was a new season, and... Cobra Kai! We were watching Cobra Kai. Thank God, that would have bugged the hell out of me, not remembering that. Anyway, as we were sitting there on the couch, she suddenly spoke up. I know! What about if I go as Velma Dinkley from Scooby-Doo, and you go as... Scooby-Doo? Shaggy? I asked as she tapped away on her phone. No, even better, she chirped, turning on the screen towards me. You go as Dracula from Season 1, Episode 11, where she tells him, You stop that. Oh God, it's too perfect. You have a sick mind, Destiny. So, yeah, sure. Your dad might skin me alive for making fun of him, but it'd be worth it for the bit. I agree as her face lights up with a huge smile. Yay! Now we have to go get the costumes ready. So a few days pass and things go pretty smoothly, relatively speaking. And then this happens. Me and Destiny are sitting on the couch eating some cereal when we hear a knock at the door. Oh, who is it this time? I complained as I stood up and walked to the door. Imagine my surprise when I see Han standing there with an even pissier look than usual. What is it? What did he want? Destiny asked when I walked back in afterwards. It's Mark. He's dead. Wait, Mark? Mark? She asked in disbelief. Yeah, someone killed him. Han thinks I can help figure out who it is, so I think I might have to break the no fighting crime promise I made to you. Jose, I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this. Pretty much everyone knows to leave those guys alone. If someone killed Mark, the head guy, it's kinda scary what else they might be willing to do, especially to you, she warned. Don't worry, I'm gonna have Han as backup. If anyone doesn't know not to fuck with him, I imagine they'll learn pretty fast. Besides, I already have an idea where I need to start looking. This is where he was found, Han said as he led me into the alley where they found Mark's body. He was beaten to death. His pistol was over there, next to the body. No rounds had been fired. Here are the photographs I took before the body was moved. Oh yeah, he's definitely dead. I groaned as I looked through the pictures. Good you thought to take these. Looks like... this was done with bare hands. These cuts on his head look like they were made by knuckles, like with a punch. And then there's more, but the chest... looks like it caved in. And see here? His sweater stretched and torn a little. And more to the left like someone had a hold of him by his sweater, was punching him. But I think the chest injuries were what killed him. What makes you say that? Han asked, looking over my shoulder at the photos. Well, I'm guessing that these injuries on his chest were done as he was laying down on the ground, because they look deep. The stuff on his face would have been a lot worse if his head was against the ground when it happened. His brains would be all over the place. I think whoever did this wanted him to suffer as much as possible before he died. So crushing his head doesn't work to that end, right? That makes sense. But how do you know to look for all this? Han asked as he continued to flip through the photos. My degree is in forensic science. I said from where I'd been scanning the ground for anything that might have been missed. I used to want to be a homicide detective,
Till I found out they were one of the highest suicide rate jobs of any. I get stressed easy enough as it is. Now that explains why you're always figuring these things out. So what did you think? I think we need to ask around town, see if anyone else noticed something. It doesn't look like there's anything here that would have the killer's DNA. I was hoping we could have Jackal use his lab to get a match, but I don't think there's gonna be anything here in this alley and the body's gone. So we have to do this the old school way, it looks like. I explained as I gave the alley one last glance.
So, did you find anything?
Destiny asked later that night as we sat down in my living room.
You what?
I heard Rissa shriek from upstairs. Oh, let's go see, I said to Destiny as we both stared up at the ceiling. Okay. What's the matter, Compressor? I asked, trying to calm myself down with my favorite Futurama quote before I had to deal with whatever was going on.
Meta Compressor. I love that episode.
Destiny whispered to me, trying to keep a serious look on her face as not to laugh. Right? I whispered back. Okay, now why are you screaming up here?
Madison, tell them now!
Rissa shouted. Madison, what did you do? I asked nervously.
What? Dirty working was short a guy, so I took the position, she said with a shrug.
That's about when I noticed the blue hoodie she was wearing and the black hat sitting on the nightstand. Madison, You know what? I can't deal with this right now, I sighed, giving up and heading back downstairs. You try and raise them right? I joked as Destiny flopped down next to me, resting her head on my shoulder.
The craziness is starting to pick back up, isn't it?
She asked, strangely enough, right before... Blam! The door suddenly crashed open as someone came storming inside. While I was busy peeling myself off the ceiling, Destiny was halfway to the back door before we both noticed. I'm not here! The blonde hammer guy hissed at us as he whipped the door behind him closed. Scott, right? I beg to differ. You seem very much here. Been a while. I believe what the fucks are in order? I said as I climbed down off the back of my couch. Shh! I need a place to hide. He tried to say as several loud crashing knocks thundered from the door. I know you're in there. Quit playing with me. A voice boomed from the other side. Don't make me knock this poor boy's door down. Shit, do you have a closet or something? No, I think this is where you have to face your very tall and very large friend out there before he breaks my door down, I said, giving him a shove towards the door. So, let's see if I got this all straight. You're gonna stay down here and work this all out whilst I go upstairs and go to sleep.
Jose,
Destiny warned me before I could even get upstairs.
Come help, please. I'm not good with this stuff, and Madison and Rissa are arguing upstairs still.
Ugh, I groaned, glancing over at the two exceedingly large men sitting on my couch. If that thing is a weight limit, they're definitely getting close. Fine, whatever. Okay, so what's your boggle, big man? I asked, sitting down across from the John Henry. You have any idea how many times he's lost this stinking hammer? Henry barked. It's because I never use it, Scott argued. Okay, everybody back to your corners, I told him as I jumped up from my seat. You come with me, Blondie. Destiny, talk to the giant for a minute whilst I get his side of things. Okay, what's the deal? I asked as I led him into the kitchen. This whole thing is bleeding over into my home, so can we fix this, please? Well, I suppose it is a bit of a long story. Long story, yeah. Don't try to use my own spell against me. How about we just run through the cliff notes to speed things along? I interrupted. Huh. Okay, well, here it goes. Well, what did you figure out? Destiny asked me as we joined back up in the living room. So, blonde guy, Scott, is really a giant wolf god monster thing pretending to be Thor to duck his family drama, or something like that. Our man John Henry over here lent him his magic hammer some years ago to help sell the Thor bit, but instead of launching a Marvel franchise with it, he's been wandering around messing with nature and stuff and narrating stories on YouTube.
Oh. Okay, Destiny said once it was done. Well, that about lines up with what he said, I think.
And let me guess, your issue is you think he's not helping people like he said he would, yeah? I asked Henry, who had taken to sitting back with his arms crossed in front of him. About sums it up? Okay, I think I can fix this quick enough, I declared confidently. Not helping people is the problem, I mumbled as I scrolled through my phone. So, Henry, you familiar with Batman? Who? So that's a no, I sighed. Right, so he's a comic book superhero. You get the idea of superheroes, right? I think so. Okay, I can work with that. So Batman is a superhero, and his secret identity is Bruce Wayne, who also happens to be like the richest guy in the imaginary world, right? So this rich guy spends his nights patrolling around the city, occasionally fighting a bad guy here and there. Sounds good at face value, right? I started explaining. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and that's what most people think. But there's some people who think he's actually a huge asshole, because when you think about it for more than a minute and stop making any sense, he's a multi-billionaire. But instead of using that money to fix the problem that caused the crime and poverty in the city, he spends it secretly on fancy gadgets that he uses to beat up random bad guys when he just happens to catch them committing a crime. So instead of helping thousands and thousands of people and making his city a much better place to live, he doesn't. He runs around fighting criminals in bat costumes and getting antagonized by a mentally ill man in a clown costume. You follow? I asked once I was done picking apart Batman. More or less, I guess. Okay, just look at this, I told him, holding the phone up to him. This is a YouTube channel. At face value, it's some random, albeit abnormally attractive guy, Destiny. Hey, Destiny. Sweetheart, eyes on me, please. I stopped snapping a couple of times at her to get her attention. Off of him and back to literally anywhere else. Guy reading horror stories online, right? What's the big deal about that? Well, ever since Destiny told me about him, I've been watching his stuff, and then I saw the comments. One thing I kept noticing was all the people who keep talking about how much just being able to unwind and listen to stuff helps them get by day. Maybe something bad happened, or is happening to them. This is where they go for something stable and familiar and welcoming. And even the people who write the stories, it lets them know there's someone out there who supports them and cares about what they do. Just doing this, he's helping way more people than he ever could by swinging that hammer around. Huh. I don't guess I ever thought of it like that. You've really been doing a lot of good stuff for these folks. Well, I guess the kid has a good point, Emery admitted after he thought about it for a while. So, you're not mad anymore? Pi cautiously asked. I was never mad at you, friend. I was just worried you might lost your way along the road somewhere. But the jumping fella over there makes a lot of sense. So everything's alright by me. Henry told him as he stood up from his seat. Now come on, let's get out of their hair. I'll make you some of my soup you like. Yes, please. I mean, you've both been great. And I don't mean to push you out. I just don't think my relationship can survive this much muscle all together in one room, I said, trying to lead them to the door. Good thing that's over. Now all I have to do is solve another murder, I complained once they were gone and the commotion upstairs died down. Hey, Jose? They left the hammer, didn't they? I said before Destiny could finish. Yeah, just sitting next to the couch. Okay, I guess I'll just let it sit here with all the props. I'm sure he'll come back for it when he realizes it's missing. I just don't feel like risking getting in the middle of anything else tonight, I told her as I sat in the corner behind the King Arthur costume. Your apartment is starting to look like Abigail's shop, Destiny said as she watched from her place on the couch. You'll run out of room before too long. Maybe you should finally move in with me. Hey, someone's snooping around out there, I cut her off when I glanced out the window and noticed a man in a suit examining the apartments. Too bad I didn't see anything, I added, closing the curtains and walking back to the couch.
Jose, I've noticed you haven't been active in a little while. Everything okay?
Adeline asked through the phone the next day as I stared down at the apartment's office building. Can't talk now, solving a murder.
What? Another?
Click. I'm gonna pay for that one later. I sighed as I hung up on her, opening my contacts and made another call. Hey Han, can you get me into the office over here at some point? Yeah, there's been a lot of people creeping around here lately. Maybe we can use the security footage to start establishing location times for at least a few people. Okay, thanks. I'll wait here. Once Han got here and showed me how to go through the security footage, he said he had to go take care of some stuff. And he left me to search through it all. Luckily, it was on a 3-day cycle before the data gets overwritten. It didn't take long before I started noticing strange things, and I probably knew I was on the right track. And then, like clockwork, "What you looking for?" "Fuck!" I screamed as I heard the voice and turned to see the face looking over my shoulder. "God damn it!" I screamed at the smiling maid, her face just barely illuminated by the security door. "Doing the detective thing again, huh?" she asked, still looking at the screen. Oh my god, why does everyone feel the need to scare the shit out of me? Wait, you're unreasonably strong, aren't you? I asked once it calmed down. And you can travel almost instantly, right? I know what you're going to say, and it wasn't me. I'm not allowed to hurt any one of those chuckleheads right now. What do you mean you're not allowed? Not allowed by who? I asked suspiciously. By whom? And you don't need to know that, she told me as she finally stood up straight. But I can tell you that the whom in question is just as interested in the identity of the killer as you. First, don't correct my grammar. Nobody likes a grammar Nazi. And already I didn't like you to begin with. And nobody says whom in casual conversation anymore. Second, wait, where was I going with this? Oh yeah. Why are you so interested in who killed Mark? What's it to you? Aw, look at you sticking up for yourself like a big boy. She mocked after her eyes stopped twitching for some reason, giving my cheek a squeeze with her gloved hand. I'm sure you'll figure it out soon enough. Hey, I'm about to start making deliveries, Rissa said. She opened the office door, and of course, by then the maid had vanished into thin air without a trace. You find anything yet? Huh? Oh, maybe. I'll have to dig around some more, but I shouldn't say anything else about it yet. I told her as I sat back in my chair. Is Madison at the Dirty Work Ink shop already? Yeah, she groaned. I could tell she was still frustrated about it, so I left her alone and told her bye before she left. When she was gone, I gathered up my notes and headed out the office door. But as I left, I had to slide to a dead stop because rounding the corner, I almost ran straight into... Harley? Where the hell have you been? Help support the author on Patreon. Link in the description below.